reason that SCAG got formed was there was a state bill to legislatively establish regions.
The federal government at the time, more and more they found themselves unable to deal with a lot of local issues.
The self-determination of the region through use of joint powers to establish the SCAG as it is right now.
The United States Congress created a metropolitan planning organization. That's how SCAG is born.
I always viewed the mission of SCAG not as a planning entity. I viewed the mission of SCAG as an entity that led pulling parts together. We cover every issue.
In the beginning, it was really to develop a regional transportation plan, not a city focus, not a state focus. SCAG doesn't have an implementation authority. We do have 6 county transportation commissions that do that. But through a collaborative relationship with these county transportation commission, I think the plan gets implemented. Before the Alameda Corridor, many railroad lines were coming from the ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach to downtown Los Angeles. The Alameda Corridor was born in the 1980s by a planner at SCAG. It was an amazing undertaking.
You know, when I became president, I was trying to focus on safety in my community. The SCAG staff applied for a grant and we moved forward with the Go Human campaign. 10 plus years later, the Go Human campaign is still here.
We also have a better understanding about how where people live and how where people work plays into those decisions. Those challenges have only grown as housing has become more expensive.
SB 375 has changed the way MPOs are viewed. This is a state law, they had the authority to do it, and guess what? Again, they said, oh, MPOs, you go ahead and do it. And by the way, we're not gonna give you any of the authorities or the funding to go with it. As normal, SCAG said, we'll accept the challenge because that meant we are gonna be in charge of our destiny.
You know, the REAP program, I like to think is for the first time the state really beginning to live up to the expectation that they've laid on us.
There's an awareness by cities and regions within our region of what we need to do to be in compliance with what they want us to do at the state level. REAP has been a huge boon for all of us.
SCAG has always been very personal. The ability to be in a room together and collaborate with very diverse backgrounds and situations, challenges, and opportunities. The ability to convene together is invaluable.
We were in the middle of our regional housing needs assessment and our regional transportation plan and sustainable community strategy. And everything had changed.
We get hit with the pandemic and we start doing much more of the Zoom faces on the screen. And so I think that we lost a lot. But I do think it taught us how to be resilient and how to continue forward with the mission of the agency, even in the most challenging of times.
It really caused us to look internally about institutional racism, best practices, redefining resiliency, to have a resilient region that is not impacted by unrest.
What made possible the innovations that we did in this region is the quality of our staff. All individuals that were really instrumental in mobilizing the staff, and the interesting thing is that the leadership in SCAG has come from within.
One of the advantages about being a member of SCAG is that you have an amazing staff, but more importantly, you can bring resources back to your community.
At the end of the day, our primary concern is making lives better for the people that we represent.
I don't know that the goals of SCAG have changed. I think the region has changed, and we've evolved with that.
Air pollution doesn't stop at city borders. Transportation problems don't stop at city borders. Housing issues. This is really the level of government that I want to work in.
We have this blessing of geography. How do we maintain that into the future for our children? And that's really the work that we're about at SCAG.